What's going on, you guys? This is going to be a quick video on how to tune your Balisong. Just a quick disclaimer here, this is meant more for beginners. If you're looking for any information on tuning bushings or washers, this isn't going to be it. This is specifically just to tune the pivots. This is just more of a beginner video. But yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into this. So the past couple weeks I've had a couple comments on people asking how to tune their Balisong, asking for help with it, just overall wanting information on it. So I told them I'd go ahead and make a video. So for those guys, here you guys go. So yeah, what I have here is two of the entry-level trainers. I have a Glider Sahara. One thing to note, this is a beta. Then I also have a Squid Trainer V 3.5. I woke up and I wasn't thinking, and I actually went ahead and tune this one a little bit. I mean, you gotta shake it kind of hard to get the tap, but yeah, with that being said, we're going to tune this a little better. Not only that, we're going to go over tips on how to tune and also the lube and Loctite. Sorry, took me a second thinking of it. But yeah, with that being said, here we have the Squid 3.5. One thing that a lot of people notice with these is they come with tap. A lot of these, the tap can be tuned out with just the pivots and proper Loctite and lube. So what you're going to want to do starting off is figure out which one of the handles have the tap. To do that, you would basically just hold it like this and shake it. So on this one, the bite handle does not have any tap. The safe handle is the one with the tap. So what we're going to do, open it to the open position. We're going to take it and squeeze it a little bit. Depending on how tight your pivots are and everything, if they've already been Loctited, you may have to squeeze them harder. Yeah, the one thing to keep in mind, you do have to put a decent amount of pressure. Not so much to where you're going to be shaking your hand and possibly bending the Zen pins or the tank cups, depending on what you got. But yeah, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and I loosen mine at first, and then once I have mine loosened, I'll take it, squeeze it, and I'll actually run it in all the way until it binds. And doing that just kind of gets it all the way down. That way you can get the tightest fit. So as you guys can see, it is not moving at all. So from there, one little hack tip, what I do, if you guys are new to this and you're afraid of scratching your ano, you can actually use your thumb, kind of put it on there and just help guide it. That way you don't have to worry about scratching your hardware, or even worse, the actual scales in your bally. And just start unscrewing it a little bit. Sometimes it'll do that. You just want to slowly back it out until you get free handle swing, and then you can tighten it until you find that sweet spot. There's a sweet spot to where it'll swing right there. It'll swing completely free, and any tighter it would bind. So from there, since that is a sweet spot, we can take it like that. There's no tap. Now to get that to stick, you're gonna have to Loctite it, because that'll stick maybe for a little bit. When it comes to Loctite, one thing I highly recommend is getting Loctite, getting a bottle to put the Loctite in anyways, that has one of these needle tips. The needle tips just make it a lot easier to put the proper amount, not put too much, because if you put too much, when the screw goes all the way in, that Loctite will actually bleed out from the screw and get on your washers, and while it dries, it'll actually start making the washers bind and it won't swing freely. Super annoying. Using something like this, it's very hard to get the proper amount. Got a little bubble on it now. But yeah, using the unicorn is a lot easier, and it really doesn't take much at all. We'll go ahead and Loctite. That just real quick. I'm just gonna back it all the way out. Take the little unicorn. I'm not going to be able to get this on camera, just in terms of like how much to put on there. It's just like less than a drop. It's a very, very, very small amount. There we go. All right. So you guys probably can't see that, but what I'll do, anytime you get the screws out like that, you can go ahead and clean it. Before you tune it and everything, I would recommend taking it completely apart, cleaning it, putting it back together, putting lube on it before you Loctite it and tighten everything, just because it makes it easier for the lube to go ahead and get all over the washers. But yeah, once you do that, and then you're back to this step, you just put it in. You don't have to hand start it. I just typically will hand start it just because I've had experiences with stripping these screws, and it is a nightmare. So yeah, we're gonna go and screw this in, run it all the way in, and now we're back to square one, to where we're gonna loosen it, tighten it, and we're trying to get free handle swing. We're trying to find that point to where it's going to start binding, which is right there, and this go literally just like a hair out. Bam, and there you go. Now that's not going to have tap, however you do have to let that dry, because if you don't let it dry and you start flipping it, it's not going to give that Loctite time to set up, and yeah, it's going to be a pain. So now for some extra hacks on this. With these two, this hack doesn't really apply, but I'm just going to go over it real quick. If you're ever taking out the lower sex pins, or bolts, whatever you want to call them, and of course you have the handle off of the blade, and the only thing connecting it are these two screws, and you can get one and the other one just wants to free spin, take that take that spacer, point it straight out, because it's kind of a triangle. Take it, get like a door or something hard, something you're not going to dent or anything, and push up against it. And basically what that's doing is creating the same binding that we create with the handles with squeezing them, because that female part is on the outer edge, and anytime you can hold that in place, you can unscrew the male portion of it, and you're good to go. So yeah, quick little tip on that. As far as actual pivot screws, if you're squeezing this pretty hard and it still can't come out, it still wants to continue to spin, a couple things you can do. You can actually take a rubber band, put it around your finger, squeeze on the smooth portion of this. Of course, if anything is like the, where's it at, the Lucha, and it has two of them, then you're not going to have this issue to where both of the male and the female screws are going to have the Torx bits drivers or whatever, Torx bits heads. I can't talk today. You're not going to have to worry about this. But yeah, take the rubber band, push up against it. Basically what you're trying to do is grip this to the point to where it'll allow that to break free, and yeah, then you can screw it all the way out, squeezing the handle. Another good tip on that is actually taking an eraser, and I'm talking about the erasers that are like an inch by maybe 2.5 inches, the kind that no one would ever finish in school. Everybody would always break them in half, throw them. I was always stabbing them with lead, and it ruined them. But yeah, anyways, you just put that eraser in your hand, which I've actually done this one before. Put the eraser in your hand, you put the belly on top of it. From there, you take your screw and you actually just push up against that, and you're basically just pushing it into the eraser. One thing you have to be careful with that is if it's a smaller, this is a T10, if it's a smaller Torx head for the pivots, if it does slip, you run the risk of stabbing yourself in the hand, so be careful with that. Another hack, I guess you could call, this one's not necessarily a hack, but it's just something that a lot of people avoid, and they really shouldn't, and that's going to be buying quality tools. I'm also included in that. Recently I just bought a full Weehaul set. I'm trying to see if I have my other one around me. I don't right now. I bought a cheap driver set off Amazon for like $15, and it had like 60 different drivers in it, and I have stripped so many screws by using that. It's just, they're soft, they're they're actually tapered, so they're not straight. So like as this gets, the longer that the actual Torx bit is on it, the more it tapers, which is kind of dumb because it's less surface contact on the screw and it will strip it, and then once you strip that, you're screwed, no pun intended. But yeah, this is a quick video on tuning. One thing that I don't know if I mentioned or not in the beginning is you can squeeze it while it's closed. However, this, with my experience, I get way better results if I do it while it's open. But yeah, if I kind of skipped over anything in this, I apologize. I don't really have too much time today, but I thought I'd go ahead and try to record. Also, when it comes to lube, you don't necessarily have to have like the needle tip. It does help though, because you don't get excess on there and you don't have to wipe it off, because it sucks whenever you're flipping. Like this one's textured, so it's not too bad, but if you're flipping, say like a Hom Bass R or something, and you put lube on it and then that lube gets on your hand, and it makes it impossible to flip. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to comment, drop a like on this video. It really does help with the algorithm. If you guys want to see anything else, please feel free to leave a comment down below on that. And with all that being said, you guys take it easy.